Let's see if it's actually going live.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just like a little bit of a delay.
Probably have to mute it.
Okay, looks like it's going. Hello,
Hey.
everyone. I'm
Hi.
Rachel Reads and Sings, in case this is your first time here on my channel. And I am so excited to be here. We are here for reading sprints / productivity sprints, whatever you want them to be. And I'm just so excited that we're kicking off this readathon, and I'm already having a good time. So please let us know in the comments like what you're currently reading. If you've already finished something, let us know. And we can also go around and talk about what we've been reading. So Jen, why don't you go first?
Yeah, well, I finished 3 things, but
oh my God.
we're all under 200.
I finished 3 things.
I know. But one of them I started last night, and everything was under 200 pages. So total page-wise, I read like 400 pages today. So it's not like I was going bananas or anything. But none of them have been over 4 stars. So I haven't had like super high quality yet. But that's okay. Like, that's okay. I was really, really hopeful for like the orc one that I read, and like I liked it. I liked that it was own voices too. Like, it was written by a gay man, which I feel like is rare. It shouldn't be, but like it is rare. Because first you got to find a gay man who wants to write, who writes romance, who then writes monster romance.
Romance.
You know, it's like harder to get to that. But like, it was just hardly anything happened in it. And I was like, come on, this is a fantasy novel. Like, it needs stuff to happen. And then, yeah, but I'm going to be I'm starting my 4th one, which is The Dom Who Loved Me. So we're giving Lexi Blake another chance because I haven't really loved the other books I've read by her, but this one I'm hoping for. So
cool.
That's my BDSM book for my prompt. So
nice.
Yep.
What about you, Jessen?
So I have finished one book today. It was Lord of London Town by Tilly Cole, and I didn't really enjoy that one. I almost DNF'd it, but what kept me pushing through to the end was I was very sure. I was like, it's either going to be a left field villain that was not hinted at all, or it is going to be the villain that is like blatantly there that nobody's recognizing is the villain. But that's the reason why I pushed through to the end, because I wanted to see if I was right or not and how the characters would react. So I did that. Didn't enjoy it. I gave that one 2 stars. So now I'm like looking for like a pick-me-up. And I have added a book that was not on my original TBR. I think that I'm going to add quite a few actually that were not on my original TBR. So right now I'm going into Zephyr by Amara Ray, which is the 4th book in her Immortal Coven series with witches. And this is a half witch, half shifter, and shifter romance. So I'm very excited about it because it's like a rejected mate trope, and I like that. So it's exciting. It's good so far. I've only read like 2 chapters.
There is a sex scene from that book living rent-free in my head right now.
Well, I actually read her author's note this time because I didn't read it for Inferno, which I read Inferno last night, which is a big reason why I was like, okay, I'm ready for Zephyr, like right now. But I read the author's note in the front, and so I was like, we're getting kinky on this one. It's like,
Amara Ray just goes for it, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I like it. She tries new stuff in every single one. So
Anyway,
so I'm bringing up this comment, if it'll because I just finished Blindside by Candy Steiner, and it was so much fun. Like, it's just like a fun sports college fake dating romance.
Like, we love a good fake dating romance. Love it.
It's just a good vibe. It's just like a good time. And Candy Steiner, like, she is a master of marketing her own books. Like, her TikTok / Instagram reels where she'll put like excerpts from the books. I'm like, say less. Now I want to read it. So here we go. So yeah, it was fun. I gave it 5 stars. I had a really good time. And then I'm so excited about this. I'm about to start Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross. And because Jen messaged me, she was like, Rachel, If anyone needs to read this book, it's you.
I was literally on the second
Peter.
chapter. I was on the second chapter. I was like, Rachel, you need to read this.
Those of you that
Yeah.
don't know, it has to do with like community theater and like the hero and heroine, what their leads in a play together, I think. And so anything theater related, like I'm the biggest theater nerd ever. So yes, I'm very excited about that. But let me go through more of these comments before we.
Yeah, Juliet
Also-
got to channel all her theater nerd stuff because her and her husband do
Nice.
it together. So like she was like loving it. She's like, I feel like if I don't get it correct, like the theater nerds will know. And she was like, oh God, I hope that like everything is working correctly. I'm like, girl, you got this.
I love that she does theater though. Like,
Yeah, she would act a little bit, but right now she more does like direction and stuff like that. But her husband always acts in the plays, and so do some of her kids sometimes during the summer. So it's
that's
like a family thing.
amazing. I'm gonna have to message her about that.
Yeah, dude, she would love to talk theater with you. Love it.
Also, we should say what alignment that we have. We should have started with that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, obviously, I picked the dark side. Like I put it there, but the people watching too, they should decide that. Tell us what they.
Yeah,
Good idea for the reading sprints. I didn't even notice that, Jen, because I'm so used to just like
okay.
I know who you guys are, so I'm just like I never read your
I try to
names.
think it every time just to mess with people because usually people will notice halfway through and will be
Well,
like,
that's like one time you had for the SJM, you had done one, and like we noticed like halfway through, we're like, wait.
okay, we all did it last night. I like that.
So I'm dark side, but what's funny is a lot of the dark books, like funnily enough, some of the light tropes fit with my dark books, which is funny.
Yeah.
So
they're completely arbitrarily split up. Like I try, like some of the dark are obviously dark, but like my dark book that I keep telling everyone to read, it doesn't fit any dark tropes. So, like, doesn't have any dark tropes in it. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Christy.
Oh, hello,
I missed you.
Hi.
Oh, she's waiting. Okay.
I'm always missing people that are waiting. If it's on the second line of the thing.
Oh, there she is.
Perfect timing. We were talking about our alignment, dark or light.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and
So
tell us what you've been reading and your alignment and all of that.
So I went with light, and right now I'm in between the new Kennedy Ryan, Before I Let Go, and the Everything for You, I think, by Chloe Leese.
Nice.
I'm excited about the new Kennedy Ryan. That's like my priority for after this reading done.
No, it doesn't even exist to me until October. I just grabbed it because I could, but it doesn't exist to me for like a long time. I don't want anything.
I feel like I have to read it because I feel like everybody else is going to be reading it. So like I need to read it now because I'm going to see it too often.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're also going to be in school and then like
exactly. So this is the perfect time. I got 2 weeks to like really binge it. And
you don't have time
to the walls.
You won't have time to stay up all night once school starts. So
like last night, casually staying up till 2:30, like it's nothing. I'm like,
yes, come on, 2:30.
Linda, my friend Linda. I'm so happy you're reading Phoebe. Girl, I love you. Not enough people have picked up Phoebe. Minerva Spencer is criminally underread by historical romance people. I don't know what else I have to do.
I need to pick her up.
Get people to read her because all these people who want to read feminist books and then it's bammed over your head. Read a Minerva Spencer because it's feminist as fuck.
She's
but
facing
it's
right here. She's on the display. I love her.
Like, oh my God, her new book.
I do want to read Phoebe.
Out last night, and I read it in like one sitting. And her erotic historicals, I don't love them. But they always fuck with my head. Like, they're so good. But they're not, like, swooning to me because they're literally, like, lots of multiple partners and stuff, things like that. But they're fascinating. Anyway, Phoebe's amazing, and it hits a ton of prompts. It's fantastic. So, anyway.
I need
guess
to,
what just made it on my TBR, even though I'm dark aligned. Even though I'm dark aligned.
He's so, well, and it is, like, I mean, it's not a light and fluffy book by any means because there's a very dark stuff happening in that, but it's not I don't know, like her other books all have dark stuff too, Like they all
Yeah.
do. Like Barbarous
They
and
deal with like
Dangerous
serious things, you know.
yeah, and Infamous, but
Got
yay,
some dark side people.
Yeah.
Also, Daniela, thank you for mentioning Grace Draven, because I think that that's another just left field edition I'm gonna do. I think I have Master of Crows. I haven't read yet, so I think I might pick that one up.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
we just posted the Ippos King is finally available for paperback, which is book 3.
I still need to read the second and third book of that
Oh my
series too.
God,
I only
yes,
read
you do.
Radiance.
Talk about a badass heroine in book 3. Anuset. Yes. Love her.
She was awesome in book 1. I was like, damn, girl.
Well, I just love when it's like a female monster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a female monster with a man, and literally, like, she could pop him like a grape. I love it. She could pop him like a grape. It makes me so happy.
Come on, let's jam along.
Yes. Queen of Shadows. I don't know what that hits, but it definitely hits.
Hits lots of things, I'm sure, yeah.
It's a fantasy. It could be new adult. It could hit some things. Team Light. Yes. You can really stack those babies too. I'm actually having trouble stacking tropes. Like my first one able to stack. Yeah, because they're like overlapping with other things. Like it was hard to do just pick like 3 books that could hit a whole bunch. Whereas I feel like if you do like a light one, you can do like Forced Proximity, Brother's Best Friend, Road Trip, like all those can be like one thing.
I do feel like the light is easier to stack, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Mafia, if it's a Mafia and like an arranged marriage, sure, it's those things. And then maybe an age gap. But if you already have those for something else, then yeah, because like my BDSM book, it only hits BDSM for all the prompts that I picked. That's the only one that it hits. It doesn't hit any other ones. So then I'm like, okay. I mean, not that I can't read 5, 6, 7 books in a week, obviously, but still. Okay.
Yeah, I'm living on the edge. I couldn't pick a side. So
I have some great prompts in mine. I do.
Yeah. Well, there weren't enough to do a single one at all. Like that was the point.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's not
as edgy as I think.
Yeah, there's not 16 of anything. So they're all going to be mixed in. You just pick which side you're supporting, and you can have the other ones mixed in. Like, I couldn't find 16.
I love small town romance. It's like my catnip for.
That's like the vibe for summer. I feel like is small town romances.
Didn't I do a small town? Small town wasn't an option.
I don't
know. I thought I did.
Next time.
I know. There's already some I'll switch out. There's already ones I'll switch out. I can't wait. Maggie Cole, good stuff. Well, and then like midweek, on the 8th, there's like a bunch of books coming out. And by a bunch, I mean there's 2 books coming out. There's Mafia, Madman, and Chosen by a Sinner both come out on the 8th. So.
Oh, wait. I didn't even know that Mafia Madman came out. What?
Yeah, comes out on the 8th. Which I signed up for an arc of that. And so I'm like, there's been no communication at all. So I'm like, am I just going to get this arc dropped on like Wednesday,
Oh,
Chosen by a Sinner. So, yep. Mafia Madman, crazy ass Enzo. It's going to be great. I am very curious because I'm curious. That's all I got to say.
That's
should be a fun setup.
To say.
I know. I mean, I don't want to. If people haven't read the other Mafia books, I don't want to say. But if they have, Enzo is set up in a very interesting way.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we ready to start a sprint?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Okay.
Cute.
I have a little.
I love that
timer.
I love it.
That's adorable.
So yeah, I thought that like for this one we would do 30 minutes and then maybe the next sprint could be like maybe 25. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel.
I mean,
we'll feel it out.
Good.
But 30 would be like a good one to go with. So
yeah.
Sure.
All right. So I'm about to start it and we'll be back in 30 minutes.
Perfect.
That's
That was
great.
pretty funny.
So cute.
I love it.
Mhm.
All right. How is everybody's reading going?
It's going great.
Good.
I'm very curious to see why my hero werewolf is rejecting his mate, because it's very mysterious at this point, and it seems there's more than what he's willing to give up about the situation. So I like it. I like this mystery. So
And what are you reading?
everyone's loving it. Oh, sorry, Christy. I'm reading Zephyr by Amara Ray.
Okay. Yeah.
The fourth book in her Immortal Coven series.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cats. You said of the cats. That.
I was like, wait, what is that?
What I like too in Zephyr is that, well, because like Amara doesn't overwhelm you with all 6 people right away, because there's 6 coven. So like as you go, you meet more people. So you definitely get to see more of the next 2 witches too, and who their like mates will be. And like one of the mates is so scary. I'm so excited.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I really do like a big part of the reason why I wanted to read Zephyr in the first place is because I did finish Inferno at 2:00 this morning, and she includes like kind of like the first chapter teaser. Not even as like a teaser after, like it's just immediately after the end of the book. So you can't like look over it. So of course I read it and I was like, oh my God, I need to read this. So that's why it ended up by being unofficially on my TBR today.
Yeah. I mean, it'll work for some stuff.
I'm glad, because I was reading it regardless.
Oh my gosh, the right. Oh, that book is so. Those monsters. They just. I want to read her Fae books too, damn it. But she has one more to come out, so I'm just waiting.
So for those of you guys that joined like maybe a little bit later, I just started Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross. I'm like maybe 8-9% of the way in, and yeah, this is just feeding my theater nerd self.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really fun so far.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about it, but so I'm reading The Dom Who Loved Me. It's the first book in the what's it called? The Masters and Mercenaries series by Lexi. And I remember one of the reasons too why I did want to read this one, because it's an older woman. She's 40, she's a widow, and then like the master, he's 30. So there's like a 10-year gap in it. And like the mercenary part is there's like a group of them that do like investigations undercover. But of course they're also all doms, because that's how it works in series, is like it's just a big group of doms who also all work together. That's how it works out. But I'm excited about it because it's just the way she writes her books, though, is so weird, because it's just so like accepted in their like business that they're also all this. Because literally he's trying to get in, he's trying to infiltrate this company, and she's the assistant to the boss or whatever. And his buddies are like, you want to fuck her, don't you? And it's like, you have a job. But I mean, I'm reading a romance, I know that. But it's always a weird in conversation when they're like, you also want to fuck her, don't you? And I'm like, it's just an interesting way to start with the story, you know what I mean, when everybody just is aware of that. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be good.
I added that to my TBR recently, and I honestly can't remember why. I think I came across one of those like Trope Tuesday posts, and I don't know what the trope was.
Oh, which one? I mean, it was probably older woman, because you like those. You like
maybe.
Because like that's one of the reasons I grabbed it. Like it had been recommended to me before, but then I didn't really love a different Lexi book, so I took it off, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is why I wanted to try it. So yeah, I give authors more than one chance. So
Right.
The Last Letter. Ooh. Interesting. Oh yeah. They're talking about the monsters books.
Yes.
Moth. He's my precious prickly
Gerald.
little Geralt of Rivia.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next season, honestly. Henry Cavill was made for the role. I will just say that.
I wish he was easier for people to work with, so he would be in more stuff. He's having a tough time in Hollywood, and I don't like it. Also, I've heard he's kind of a pervert. He's not.
Oh shoot, he's not.
Really? I've heard that he was an introvert. I've not heard.
I mean, he's a nerd. He's a nerd, but like, the people are like, and I'm not meaning this like, oh, this could be a rumor, but he really likes young women. Like
really
fairly legal women. I've heard it from
how old is his girlfriend?
I don't know now. I mean, now we might be in a stable one, but from multiple different places I heard this. It wasn't just one like gossip.
No, I believe you. I mean, celebrities slide up in the DMs of young fans. I mean, I know he
very much like 19, 20-year-old, 18, 19, like look, with that. And also like really Netflix is the only place that's like working with him right now because he's really hard to work with just in film. Like
I didn't know that. I didn't go that deep into him. I was just like, you're pretty.
Yeah. I need to. And that's why like I ignore because I do watch a lot of like insider Hollywood stuff because I can't help myself.
Yeah.
And the business part, not so much like gossip part. Like I watch business stuff, and that's come up multiple times when talking about him because fans love him. We love him. We think he's beautiful. I think his acting is good. Like I enjoy him. But the thing they always point out is they're like, is this really a rumor? Because why does he not have more contracts? Why is he getting pushed out of things? It's because he's difficult to work with and also maybe liking some inappropriate relationships. So
that's just
sad. It's very
crazy to me, like how actors because as an actor myself, like I can't imagine being like, I don't care how famous I would get or whatever. Like I can't imagine being like that full of myself or that like, I don't know, that like I will like when I'm doing a show, like I am like so polite, especially to the backstage people. Like, come on, the people that are making you look
make
good
things
on stage.
run.
Yeah, like, like I can't imagine being someone that like is hard to work with. Like that would just that would give me so much anxiety.
Yeah, it's really a bummer because
this is honestly the first time I've ever heard anything like this about Henry Cavill.
His own computers to game on.
Yeah, I thought he was a pretty quiet actor. I thought he was like a to himself living in the country actor. That's kind of disheartening.
That is disheartening.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's such a nerd and he likes to hang out in the country. This is great.
When you work with Tom Cruise and you're considered the difficult one, maybe you need to check yourself.
Oh, see, were you looking at Mission Impossible behind the scenes stuff? Is that where you came across it?
Wasn't. Oh no, I just mean it's come up like on multiple things over the past like years. I've heard this, and it just goes to show like when you see someone that popular that fans love so much, and they don't have companies throwing themselves at them, that's a business hint that like literally this person's so difficult to work with that they're not getting offers. Like that's just the thing, like look at the other people that are great to work with, like they can't get stuff fast enough.
Right.
I'll see, and Tiff's here. See Tiff.
Hello, Tiff.
But yes, being kind to not only your co-stars, your colleagues, but yes, people backstage or people working on set. Like,
yes. See, Ashton's backing me up. He dated a 19-year-old not that super long ago. Yeah. Yeah, because it's one thing to like reading age gaps, but I'm pretty sure he's almost like, is he 35? He's in his mid to late 30s. But he's like always liked younger women. But as you get older, that's not as great anymore when you still.
I remember the only relationship I remember him being in is with a wrestler. And I was like, damn, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only relationship I ever remember him being in. And then apparently this new one, which the only reason why I know about it was because he posted about it for COVID. But I don't really follow any celebrity. I'm mostly on my, podcast social media. So I don't follow any like celebrities on that one really. So I never see anything.
Oh no, and I can definitely say, Candace, you can think I think he's dreamy as fuck, but I have to think of him as a character and not as a human, because as a human, I
had no clue about that. I mean, I don't really keep up with him.
Is he gonna be a hashtag Me Too person 10 years from now? Will we find out stuff? Like, I would just rather be suspicious of people than just be like, I love them because they're hot. Like, I've had those days. I still have those days. I still have those days. Like, I still see like Ian Somerhalder pop up in my stuff, and I'm like, oh, I still love you. Oh my God. Like, I'll never get over it. But also, I think he's an angel because they really like protect puppies and children. So,
well, yeah, he always does
like,
the
Ashton Kutcher and his wife literally save people from sex trafficking.
Yes,
like, some people you can just
Ashton Kutcher's crazy smart. Like, he's amazing,
fantastic. So
okay, this is like completely random off topic, but whenever you said Ian oh my God,
I know. Good luck.
His last name Somerhalder. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you said his name, it immediately brought me to Vampire Diaries and Vampire Academy reboot by the same people. So did y'all watch the trailer for that? Was anybody a stan for that series like I was?
I love that book series and Bloodlines, the sequel, like the spinoff series. Like, I love Rochelle Mead. I love her.
Rochelle Mead is amazing. And I feel like, I mean, like, I understand she started having like a family and she kind of just like, did her own thing. But like, Vampire Academy was one of my YA series that really stuck with me. And I still consider Dimitri from Vampire Academy one of my book boyfriends. So I'm very curious because I really hated the movie.
The movie was liked it.
Yeah. I was like, what are you trying to do with this? I'm like, what is this? No, I don't like it. So I saw the trailer and I feel like they're going a little bit darker and I feel like that warrants it. So I'm very, optimistic about maybe I'll like it. So anyway, that was just random throwing it in there.
I love it.
In case anybody loves it.
Of that series, Adrian is actually my book boyfriend from that series. Especially because like in Bloodlines, like he's like
in Bloodlines, yes, for sure.
But at the end of that series, in her author's note, she said that she wants to revisit the world and the characters, and so like I'm holding out hope.
You know what?
One day
I want her to revisit her Dark Swan series because that one did not end well. And she always said she wants to. So I'm like, Rochelle Mead, time is ticking. It's an adult fantasy series. It's really great, but I'd never recommend it because I don't think it ends well. I think it ends
I've never read it.
It ends too open. Like there's something that's not resolved at the end of her contract with, I forgot what publishing company she was with, but it's not resolved. And I'm like, I hate that. So I never recommend it because I'm like, I don't want to lead people on, but it's such a great series if it would end well. Because she wants to do more, but her contract was So anyway.
Have any of you read her Succubus Blues series?
I did. I was Rochelle Mead stan.
I love that series so much. So that's like an adult paranormal.
But that one ends well. Like it ends.
Yes. Oh my God.
On a high note. Beautiful. HEA. It was awesome. So awesome. I really love that series so much. But I don't think that her Dark Swan series ends because she wants to write more, but they didn't contract her for more books in the series. And I'm just like, but that leaves me as a reader like hanging, and I don't like that. So I want her to go back and just be like, I don't know what she needs to do to continue that series, but it's awesome. It's a fantasy series. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, I wonder how she could do indie because like some authors can when their stuff ends.
I don't know because they still own the rights to at least that series. So I don't know about like property rights with like characters and stuff. So
I think her adult books are indie-ish. Like, I feel like the Succubus Blues series, I don't know if that's like...
It could still be a small, like, publisher.
Maybe,
Go see.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, you know. But
That's
I was
true.
going to say, like, I'm super excited that they're going to redo Aragon. I fucking love Aragon.
I didn't know that they were going to redo Aragon.
Yeah, Disney is doing
Wow.
it, and Chris Paolini is he's going to produce and write with it. So I'm pretty excited. And in his note, he's like, and there's 2 new books coming next year. So there's that. He does not confirm whether those 2 new books are Allegasia books, though, or whether they're like his sci-fi stuff. He just like said that. So pretty excited. I think Disney could be a good option because
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, if Disney made, like, here's the thing. Amazon took LOTR. You know, they have Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
We had HBO, had Game of Thrones. Disney, like, you can make Aragon older and dark. I mean, they probably, like, won't think to do that because it was, like, YA fantasy, but they should. Because those dragons are way better because they're intelligent and they're amazing. And, like, Game of Thrones, like, teased dragons all the time, but they were, like, they couldn't talk to you and, like, be the other half of your soul, you know? Like, I love it. Anyway.
Didn't they recently... Didn't some kind of announcement come out about, like, a Game of Thrones show, and then people, and understandably so, people were upset because it was, like, the article said something about there being more, like, sexual assault.
Well, it's like being
like,
filmed already, isn't it? Like, they filmed the series about the Targaryens.
The prequel
Well,
thing.
there's
Like
one
Matt
that's supposed
Smith
to come
is
out
in
at the end of the month, the House of Dragons or whatever.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked too much into it just because I don't want to be disappointed. I am a little bit of a Game of Thrones stan, like the actual book series. And I read George R. Martin's basically encyclopedia of the world. So I know a lot about like the previous kings and queens, which that's what it's doing. But from what I heard about the series is that they are making it more like gender fluid, and they're changing a couple arcs of like the characters and stuff. But
Wouldn't it
I
just
heard
be
that
an incest party? Like, wouldn't it literally just be an incest party? Because that's what was happening.
But it is for sure. But I heard that there wasn't going to be any like on-screen, like not like Game of Thrones nudity. I heard that it wasn't going to be like that. Like it wasn't going to be overly zealous with the topless scenes and all the sexual scenes. That's what I heard from the series. But I don't know. It comes out at the end of the month, so I guess we'll see.
Interesting.
Christy, what adaptations are you excited for?
I don't know.
Are you excited for any? Because I'm not excited for any.
I don't
I'm
really
not
like
really excited for
adaptations.
any.
Besides Aragon, I did just say I was excited for Aragon, but we're probably years away from that. We're supposed to be getting the next season of Shadow and Bone soon, right? They're filming, or they just started.
They've got to be filming at least. They've got to be in the middle of filming.
I'm interested, kind of. I watched that first season with like morbid curiosity, I guess. Like, I got really.
I thought they did pretty good.
Episode, yeah. I mean, it was.
I
cool.
still haven't watched it, and I have not read the book, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have like the books, you know, making me as a reader be disappointed in anything
Very
that they would have
interesting.
changed. But
Right.
I haven't watched it yet, but I don't know. Very
I
excited
feel
to.
like if you don't read any of the books, I feel like you'd be confused because that was like my one downfall about the series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The show
Well,
is
they
that
don't
it doesn't do the world building enough. And
They-
so I know
Well,
a lot
that
of people
sucks,
who
'cause I
were
feel like
confused.
as Netflix, I mean, like they should be great at world building. They have so many series like that they're really good at world building. So that kind of sucks that it wasn't.
They relied too much on if you knew what was going on. That's the issue.
Right. Like, oh, this is an
Yeah.
adaptation, then the readers know already.
Like,
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't usually make you do that. Like, they usually will give it to you fully. You know, like with Bridgerton, you did not have to have read the books for them to tell you what was going on. Whereas like with Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, like there's some stuff that I was like, I've read those multiple times and I still barely was able to keep up with what they did because some things they would change so it didn't make sense, but then other things, if you didn't already know what was happening, you didn't know what was going on. So it was a very
they didn't explain it.
Yeah. Like you need to do one or the other. Like you totally need to explain everything, or you kind of got to be like, these are for book lovers. You know, like it was a mix in there. I don't know.
You're right about that. Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, as I am a visual person, so Ben Barnes is just, you know, the draw for the series. so,
I find it interesting though because of the way that your like read of ACOTAR went. I do not think you'd have the same experience reading Shadow and Bone, is what I would say.
Oh,
you know how you read certain things and you were like, I'm on this, I'm here. And so you knew things and you're like, I'm here for it.
Oh, wait, no, I think I know where you're going.
And you won't feel that way about Shadow and Bone. Therefore,
I think I know where you're going. Like my alignment on ACOTAR book 1, and I was like, this person's more interesting. Yeah.
Because our alignment is the same.
I've heard.
And for me, I was very disappointed.
Same.
So there we go.
I hope they change that in this series.
No, Morgan, you don't like Benedict's book? I'm sorry, I'm in the comments, but like I love Benedict.
No, there's lots of comments on Bridgerton now.
Benedict and Sophie, I stan them. I love them.
I don't stand them. I think
so. I love that book.
But
Benedict was an ass at times, but I loved that book.
I love show Benedict.
Yeah.
I feel like they're losing show Benedict though. Like, what are they doing with him?
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know.
They don't know. Like sometimes he's comedic relief, and sometimes he's just like sad. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. He's a
manipulative asshole. There we go. I said it again.
Well, you know what? The way that the show's going, they'll probably change his character because if you look at Eloise's character, she's absolutely the polar opposite of what she is in the book. So
that's what that maybe is my hope with the show. But I'm also like they've literally massacred Penelope with a quill for me. So I don't know.
I don't think that Eloise is going to end up with Sir Philip at this point. Honestly, like, it doesn't even seem possible. I'm like, what are they doing? I have no idea. Seems impossible.
Anyway,
they certainly made some choices.
Wait, let's go for it. Let's talk about the Barlow and Bear fiasco that's going on. Do you guys know what's happening with this?
What?
Oh my god. So
Chrissy's like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
What they did, right? Netflix gave them permission to let them do the album and let them do that performance they did because I believe that one was a charity performance that they did. I think, right or wrong. Anyway.
Oh wait, is that the musical thing? Is that what you're
talking
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So then, hold on. So then they had set up this event that they were going to do this one time only thing, but they were doing it for profit. And Netflix found out and they repeatedly reached out and they were like, you can't do this because we didn't give you permission to make money off of it because we hold it. We paid Julia Quinn to have permission to do that. Yeah. We hold the copyright. You do not, or not the copyright, the permission. You know what I mean? I'm using the wrong legal term. And they repeatedly reached out to them, even so much to offer them like, you can purchase this right now though, if you'd like, so you can still do this performance, but like, you're not paying to do it. And they were just like, well, we don't know this for sure, but there is a sue. Like Netflix is suing them over it because they went ahead and did the performance and they made money off of it. And they sold merchandise with the Bridgerton stuff on it that they don't have the rights to. And they probably thought like, oh, well, this will be so popular. Netflix wouldn't want to sue us for it. And Netflix said, okay, bet. And they're suing them for it because it's not just them that they're ripping off.
Yeah.
Like, Julia Quinn's not getting paid for them using her stuff. Like, you're not just doing this to Netflix who bought this.
True.
Like, you're doing it to all the people who created everything about Bridgerton that you did it. So it's going all over TikTok. And I was like, Barlow and Bear, like, we loved that. Like, I don't know. I loved it. I didn't listen to every single thing, but I thought it was cool. I watched her come up with the songs.
Yeah.
But they didn't even say that it's a parody. They're not making fun of it. They're not doing mean things with it. Parody law doesn't cover this. You did a derivative work. You didn't do a transformative work. You literally took parts of it and you copied it. And not even just the original work of Julia Quinn, like you're doing it with what Netflix did to it. So like you're copying that. Like you literally made fan fiction. And you're
Yeah.
They
making
have videos of
Yeah,
watching the show and like getting inspired and pulling right from the show, and like
Exactly.
you video the entire process. So like, and Netflix
You're
owns the
fucked.
rights to like Bridgerton and any future Bridgerton musicals or Bridgerton everything.
Adaptations.
So,
and they were going to give them rights to it. But I mean, see, I'm sure they were charging a lot. I'm sure, which they should have, because it's theirs. They're allowed to do that. And then they were like, okay, bet, we're going to do it. So,
Yeah.
oh, should I be hesitating? I'm not going to hesitate. It's all over.
yeah, it was all over like social media yesterday.
I mean, I'm mad about it at the end of the day, because number one, I like them. But number two, they're not just fucking over Netflix. They're fucking over Julia Quinn. I have a problem with that. Like, Julia Quinn signed over her work for good or ill. I don't love everything they've done with it, but I hope she made a shit ton of money and continues to make a shit ton of money off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
If anybody is making profit off of her property, then she should be compensated, and they don't
Candace,
have the right to do that.
They probably thought that like their fans would side with them against Netflix, you know, and be like, oh, Netflix is a big conglomerate. But it's like, no. Like, you're not just fucking with Netflix, the name. You're fucking with the people who did the music for it themselves, who did the costumes, who did all of that. And you're taking those, like, you're even taking the way those actors portray certain scenes, and you made it into your stuff. Like, you just did that. So you thought Netflix wouldn't do it? Like, you literally did the whole process out in videos. So people think, like, from the lawyers that I've seen do TikToks about it, they think that their lawyers were probably like, Netflix won't really sue. They won't really.
Oh.
You know, so
why would you take on Netflix?
And they're already planning more things. Like, they're trying to get into Prince Albert Hall or whatever to do a performance there and like sell tickets.
What?
And make money off of it. And it's like, they let you make an album when they didn't have to. And they let you do that because like you got popular for it. They could have shut this down from the beginning and never let you create it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was kind of like, I'm sad because I really like both of you, but this is a shitty thing to do. And I hope it's just because they got bad legal advice and they will back out.
Yeah.
They're not greedy. But all of the stuff I'm seeing pop up, like, it's all like against them, even from fans who are like, this is bad. Like, you're being shitty. And like,
that's good to know that.
Well, they were like warned to stop multiple times because they have like a experience thing, which that was Bridgerton's whole like experience at all these different cities. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of them after they kind of like put down the books like in the beginning and were kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really ever like them, so I wasn't surprised they're getting sued.
Yeah. Well, and they tried to make the argument that like we're not copying the books or something. Yeah. And I'm like, you realize that's literally what happened. I know they didn't do a great job, in my opinion, at something.
Yeah.
Right. But it's still based on Julia Quinn. So you can't just be like, oh, we're not copying Julia Quinn. Yes, you are.
Right.
Duke and Daphne are Julia Quinn. You can't just, you know, this isn't a fairy tale.
The characters are her property,
Right. This isn't Cinderella, which has an OG like fairy tale that doesn't have a copyright.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
Or even Pride and Prejudice, which doesn't have a copyright anymore. Like, you can copy it if you want. Like, anyway, I got feisty about it because I was like,
no, it's interesting.
You are
stuff that I'm not aware of. So I'm glad that you are.
Yeah. Well, it's also fascinating because I really can't believe they had the balls to do it, and Netflix was like, yeah, we're gonna sue you. Like, you can't do that. So anyway, so basically Netflix, they gave Netflix the evidence they needed. Yeah, they did. Well, and someone was breaking down someone was breaking down the suing thing, and they have all the things. They're like, we let them do this basically out of the goodness of our heart. They didn't make anything off of what they did before, and they couldn't be happy with it because they were making money off of their album selling, and they won a Grammy. They were allowed to win a Grammy off of what they did.
Really? I didn't know.
Which I thought was kind of wild.
What? They won a fucking Grammy.
Yep.
Wow.
Anyway, thanks, Whitley.
Wow.
I mean, it's also kind of a thing of like, it was cool watching them get to have the rise up. Like, I did like that part of like watching, because I came across it like super early on. So I thought that was cool.
Right.
But then to take it and like their own original stuff isn't selling as well, which is understandable because the people fell in love with that. But when their original stuff isn't doing well, then to try to push it further and make money off of it, I'm like, it's not gonna work. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Well, on that note, why don't we start another sprint?
Cool beans.
All right. If for those of you that are just joining, be prepared for a little meow at the, at the end of
It was the greatest surprise. I was like, what?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start it.
feel like I got caught doing something spicy. I was like, oh no. Good stuff.
All right. How's the reading going?
Good. I read another, like, how much did I read? I read like 40 pages, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get as
I'm almost done with mine.
Nice.
I read like 10% of my book. So.
Is that your first book, Christy?
No, it's my third.
Your third. See? Yeah.
Feel so behind.
We asked those questions before we'd let you in.
Oh, okay. When I was locked out.
Yeah.
Jail. Behind the scenes jail.
Oh. Well, good luck with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're in the mood for that.
Yeah. It's on my TBR, but I don't know when I'll be in the mood for it.
Mm.
You just kind of got to dive into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually, okay, question for everybody. Did anyone else remember a ABC family show called, was it called Wildfire? I think it was called Wildfire.
I don't remember
It had Genevieve Padalecki in it back in the day. And it was a
Hey, Caitlin.
it was a horse thing. She was a troubled like youth. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Gretchen. And anyway, my point being, I'm definitely very intrigued by Flawless, and I downloaded it the other day. I also used to absolutely be addicted to it was called the Thoroughbred series when I was a kid. It was all about that. Yes, Riley. Oh my God, it was so good. I love that show. I love that show.
Well, yeah, I definitely went through like my horse obsession phase.
Well,
I read the Pony Pals series. That was my book series of the horses.
Oh, I love those too. I'm here. We'll get them in the book order, and it would like you could order it in the book order at school.
Yes.
I love those. But like normally there aren't really like books with cowboys or that stuff unless they are like a Western or like a cowboy one. So I mean that's part of the reason that I loved Broken Bow so much is because I love cowboys. I love them, but I don't always just want to read it as like a Western, but also like I like that stuff too. So I'm intrigued by how many people are liking this series. So I'm sure a lot of the inspiration too is like, I mean, Yellowstone was the biggest show on TV last year. Like it is in the numbers. A lot more people have watched it than they think. So
what book series is this?
That Elsie Silver, I don't even know what the series is called. I think
they're standalones, are they not? I think Flawless is a standalone.
Oh,
and then there's like Off to the Races and Photo Finish. I think they're part of a series, maybe. Okay. I have her books on my TBR for this. I haven't read anything from her yet, but
I saw that. But I have it. I'd like downloaded it because everyone was reading that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think whether I think they're connected still, aren't they? Like,
yeah, they probably are
separate. So that's what I mean. But like Flawless is always the first one I see everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Anyway, I'm very intrigued.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes. Flawless is a standalone, and then there's Gold Rush Ranch. All right, there we go. So
I gotta check these out.
Anyway,
and I know they take place in Canada, which is fun.
Yeah. Yep. Because the other show that it's been on for literally, I think like 18 seasons or whatever is Heartland is the one up there. I watched 7 seasons of it, and then I was like, I'm done. You're good. You're a good show, but I'm going to tap out. I'm going to tap out now, but you're good. They like got married, and I'm like, I'm done. Like I hold out till I get that. Canada has some great stuff. It's got some great stuff. So, but anyway, that was a random thing, but I do really like things involving horses. That's part of the reason. There's a dark romance series by, oh shit, I just forgot the name now. But one of the books is a Beauty and the Beast one. One is called Hunter. One is called one is a I can't remember these, but they all take place at a ranch. They all take place at a ranch, but they're dark romances that involve. One of them is about a vet who's a vet to the place, and then but they aren't like westerns. So I like that when they don't have to have that as a theme, but still have horses and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, that's what I was gonna say about the Claimed by the Orc Prince that had a horse death in the last 5 pages of the book, and I was like, oh,
Unexpected.
Lionel Hart, how would you just kill this? Oh, Flawless is a spin-off. Okay. So are you technically supposed to read the other one? I mean, not technically, as in, of course, you can read a standalone first, but should I read the Gold Rush Rants first?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
Flawless? Or should I read
anytime there's like animal cruelty or an animal death in a book,
we're warned.
That just like hits.
It was really sad, but why it didn't overly trigger me, because literally the Orc Prince, he picks up the horse for his husband and carries her over to be they give her this beautiful burial or whatever. Aww. And I was like, oh my God, I already love this Orc Prince. But the horse was the last gift from his dead dad to the Elf Prince. And so the Orc Prince picks him up and there. And I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. But also that was so stinking beautiful. Aww. So it's okay, because it wasn't a cruelty thing. It was the horse literally died.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to happen. But still, it's a trigger warning for me. So it's on my... I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting the horse to die just here in the last little bit.
That's why to this day, I will never watch, I will never read Marley and Me. No.
You would.
No.
Or Old Yeller. Why would you watch it?
No, the torture. Why would you torture yourself?
You know what broke me? I read Where the Red Fern Grows, and I did not know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I was just excited because we raised hunting dogs. I literally had 2. Yeah. We literally had 2 red bones when I was a kid. And I'm reading this story, and my dad has the audacity not to warn me that that's going to happen. I was traumatized as a farm girl and a loving pet mom to see these dogs die. And I was like, I'm over it.
Yeah, it hits different, especially because I had a lab growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So nope, I can't do it.
Stacy, I just reread Blood and Ashes, and then I don't know, that horse has a beautiful death too, though, at the same time, because it's given a lot of weight. That's why it I don't know, I'm that way with any kind of trigger. When an author throws bad things in a book just to be what Crystal calls just trauma porn, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But literally in Blood and Ashes, it devastates that this horse has died, and there's cost.
Right.
There's cost. And yeah, Caitlin, and nobody ever warned about that.
I didn't know that about that book.
I give people. I knew that because Kay told me, but I wouldn't have known that otherwise, because I was gonna read that for the vlog that we did together, but she was like, yeah, just know there's animal cruelty.
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you make a villain a villain? Have him crack a cat's neck. That's a good way to make you a villain. Whereas, again, the death of the horse in the book I just read, and in Blood and Ashes, the horse is literally saving someone's life. And it, it's of course that hurts. But the animal's a valiant creature who's he got a beautiful goodbye. It was horrible. But exactly, Lexi. Nope, that's what I always say.
Oh yeah, same.
Give me a fucking trigger if you're gonna kill an animal. I just have to be prepared. I have to be prepared that it's gonna happen.
Because animals are pure souls. That is going to devastate me. That's going to gut me.
Yeah. If you're gonna kill a spider or a snake, it's fine. But if I can see a soul in their eyes, like a horse, a dog, a cat,
right,
a bird, I need to know. Yes, girl. That was the saddest thing ever.
I remember watching that movie, that like old movie of it when I was a
Yeah.
kid. Oof.
Yeah, I read the book. It was one of the first classics I ever read. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, he has 2 dogs and he
Yeah.
saved up money to get his dog. It's so cute. And then the dog. It's like,
And they didn't warn you back then, like in school. They didn't warn us.
No.
They're just like, this is a classic. You must
Yeah.
read it.
supposed to experience it. I'm like, wow, that's why we all have anxiety and we're stressed out. Okay. Because you're killing
That
our
early trauma, that childhood trauma.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, it's kind of sorry, I'm sidetracking with this, but like my dad, we're farm people. My dad's had to, you know, put down our animals himself. Like he always has. Like if an animal needed it, my dad did it, you know.
Yeah.
With a heavy heart, he would. For the last like 5 years or so, my dad is literally, he's like, I'm never killing another animal that's not for food ever. If one of my babies is gonna like go, he's like, I'm not doing it anymore. He's like, I've had to do it too much. And I was like, Dad, that is an acceptable place to reach in your life. To not have to.
He's earned it. He doesn't have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Outsource because no.
Like we, yeah. Anyway, it's tough on farm because you are used to it in a certain sense. But yeah, my dad's like his babies now. He's like, I can't do it. He's like my dogs and my cats. Like it's different now. And I was like, I understand. But anyway, sorry that we went to that. But I was just like this sweet kind of orc thing I was reading, and then like the horse died.
Yeah.
Oh, poor horsey. But oh my gosh, Charlotte's Web. Let's not even.
Oh my God, can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
Like, let's not even. I mean, again, like the biggest thing for me is that when in romance now, like I understand why in classics, like classics are trying to, like when you are taught them in school, they're trying to teach you something about death. I mean, I'm not saying that's easy to get through, but like that's what they're trying to do. When I'm reading a romance, that's going to have an HEA, but then like a animal dies in it. Like I'm not, like that's contradicting with what I'm, you know, like I'm prepared for there to be maybe like rape or torture. I'm not prepared for the cat to die, you know. Like,
nobody ever thinks to mention the animal.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But I do. I'll tell you. If I read it, I'll tell you if an animal dies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I might forget to mention dubious consent, but I won't forget to mention the cat. Oh, yeah. I literally don't even remember that animal. That book traumatized me in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Oh, that would be so sad.
Have to teach it every year. Yeah.
Oh Lord. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now that you bring it up.
Tough. Oof.
Yeah, and it's like, could anything else bad happen to these people?
Yeah, they didn't need that. They didn't need that.
Oh,
It was too much on top of everything.
Survive all this horrible stuff, and then it's the thing that gets you.
Mm-hmm. So
What?
do you want to go? Oh, you go.
Oh no, it's okay. I was gonna ask, what book people are the most excited to read this week? Like, are you saving
Ooh,
it?
that's a good question.
Have you started that one? Like, I just wanted to ask that question maybe to get us off of this sad.
To get us
I
off of
don't
this sad.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Go
I'll
to
get us
something
out.
dark or light, but
Yeah.
not animal death. We're not going to talk about animal death
You need to
anymore.
look at my PDR.
I'm
don't
in
know
mine
if
right
I'm
now, the Kennedy
most
Ryan one.
excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah. I'm
Go ahead.
excited.
I'm
Okay.
really excited to read Psycho by Onley James.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
It is
That's
my
one of
personal
favorite.
favorite. No pressure.
Okay. Well, and I, of course, listened to y'all's podcast episode for Unhinged because I loved that book so much. And so I'm so excited to go into that one. For sure.
I don't know. Psycho just holds a special place in my heart. I fucking love it. I mean, they are both beautiful souls, even if one is a psycho killer. I mean, he's a beautiful soul as well.
He's my favorite kind of psycho, though. Like, he's literally my favorite kind of psycho. Like, I love
exactly.
him. So, yeah.
He's amazing.
2 and 3 were my favorites. 4 I didn't like so much, and I haven't even really continued now because I'm just waiting for the last book. But I mean, they're great. They started to get a little too repetitive for me because when you have 7 and they're all gay and they're all going to fall for it's kind of like, okay, you're doing the same thing for.
I mean, I'm most interested in a certain couple that I'm assuming is going to be the last book of the series.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely who I'm most interested after, Unhinged and Psycho.
I'm most excited for. There's 2 possibilities because I actually I have no clue because these are all, like I said, I picked all books that other people recommended to me. So I picked the book based off of what the prompts were that people wrote in my form. So I have no stake in that. But the 2 that I am most excited for, I got sent Sweetest Sin, which is my priest romance that I'm going to try. So excited for that. And then there's one called Danger You Know, and that one's going to be my stalker one. So those are the 2 that I'm most believing in it. That could be it. So we'll see. And I have no idea, but I also have no stake in it. So if I don't, that's fine. It's good. So
what about you, Christy?
The Kennedy Ryan that I'm reading right now was the one I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin?
Which it's really, really good.
I don't know what I'm most excited for because I'm just in a mood where I'm just like, everything sounds good right now, which is a great mood to be in during a readathon.
Right.
But The Risk by S.T. Abbey, I know that lots of people have read it, and I have honestly avoided I've avoided all the spoilers. So I'm very excited to read that finally. And also Does It Hurt as well. I know that other people were interested in reading that one.
Yeah.
So I've never read H.D. Carlton. Yeah. So it'll be my first, and it'll be interesting to see what happens,
My best friend did immediately read the duet because I was putting off reading it. I've been the
cat and mouse duet, that one.
I don't want to read it. I'm scared. And my friend, who I told her, you have to read Does It Hurt? She read it. And then she immediately read the duet, and she was like, it was fantastic. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's good to know. Well, if it's fantastic, then I have to hunt down the special edition that they did with the duet in one. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Sad. We'll see. All these special editions floating around there. I mean, bane of my existence. My bank account does not thank you.
From what it's about, I'm still nervous because. So the friend I was talking about, y'all, is the friend who you can all, if you've loved Untouchable, you can all thank this friend because she's the reason why I read it and why everyone knows about it from me because I'm the only reason people know about Untouchable. But anyway, I don't mean that, but I do kind of. Sometimes she still likes things crazier than me. So I'm still nervous about, based on what the Haunting and Haunting is about. I'm still kind of like, that's a topic that is difficult. I've really only read Pam Godwin do it good enough for me. So
and again, I really have avoided anything to do with what that series is about. I've just seen it. So
But see, part of it is for me, I know some people don't have to hear anything, but I get like with Does It Hurt? I'm not I've read it and I'm telling people to read it and I'm trying not to tell too much so people don't know. But I have so many of my viewers are like, can you please tell me what it is? Because everybody who reviews it, because they don't want to spoil it, they're like, it's good, you have to read it. I'm like, that gives no context. Is this a fluffy
and that's
best friend or whatever? So it's I have to be able to tell people the tone. And also, when you're best friends with someone and you say you need to read it, that's easier than when there's TikTokers telling me to read it. I'm like, could you give me some context clues?
Yeah, like I need more information from you in particular before I dive into this.
Well, and I
because you don't know me like that. But yeah, no, and that's why I mean, whenever I do have time to do reviews, I try to do.
Yeah.
If I feel like there's something I need to say, I'm like, look, we're going into spoilers right now. So if you're a spoiler type of person, you'll enjoy what I'm about to say. But if you're not, then
like,
don't listen to this.
And that's kind of how I was feeling about the Haunting of Adelaide, because it's one of those books where people only put the spicy snippets. You know, it's that problem that I was bitching about recently of like with Praise and Give Me More. People are only putting the sexy snippets, which are great for the eye-catching stuff.
It changes the tone.
Right. But to me, Give Me More is so much more than just about these three people fucking each other. Like that book touched me, and it was about so much. Like, yeah, it has all the spice people want, but I don't think you'll go away from that book just being like, oh, it was hot. Like, that's not what makes just being hot, because I can find hot anywhere. Like, I just read Tyler that was really hot, and it did nothing for me. Like, I'm not hating on it. It's a novella. That's what it was.
It just did nothing for you. Yeah.
So anyway, like with the reason why I've put off The Haunting Duet is people are like, it's the most twisted thing I've ever read. And I'm like, why? And they give you spicy hints. I'm like, okay, but why? You know?
Right.
Anyway, so, and that's how I feel about Pam Godwin. She has some of the best spice I've ever read, but none of her books do I read them and I'm just like, oh, it was spicy. Like,
yeah, that's right.
It's definitely a factor, but it's not the thing that like sticks out in your mind whenever you read Pam Godwin.
Yeah,
it's not the thing that you like run yelling about. She does other incredible things that are more impactful.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I need a book to be more than just hot. To be like a 5-star.
Hot, like I said, hot is nice, but like, is there more?
But I need
that's what makes a book memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's the thing too of why I always tell people, like, find who your book tastes align with.
Yeah.
You can be friends with everybody. Like, people want to talk about like the clicks and what they mean, and I'm like, well, for me, it's just the people that when they explain the book, I completely trust their recommendation for the book. Whereas some people who just tell me a book is great, and I'm like, yeah, but it was great to you. And your viewers know if they trust your word or not. Like, there's plenty of books that I have dear friends with and we do not agree. And when they recommend me a book, I'm still like, oh, that's great. But I need to listen to like 5 other people's opinions first, because sometimes we have the same favorite books and sometimes I read a book and I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? And that doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means it didn't work. So there's so much that goes into it. But once you find your people and you know who you like, 95% of the time rate a book the same way, like 95%. Then when I read a book like Does It Hurt, I'm like, oh, Jessam's, I want to hear her thoughts. Like, she has to read it. You know, I might not be completely right if she'll love it the same amount as me, but I'm like,
but there's some books that you're just interested in knowing another's opinion. Yeah. It's not that you know that they'll like love it or not. It's just like, I'd be interested to see what their take is on that book. Because I do that with y'all all the time. Like, I honestly have no idea whether or not you'll love it or hate it, but I'd be interested to see what you think about it in general. What's your thought process? Because it might be a complicated relationship with that book.
I can tell by the tone when she means she's interested because she thinks I'll love it, or if she's like, I just really want to know what she's thinking of it.
I just want to know because I kind of hate it and I want to know if you hate it too. But I won't say it. I won't say that I hate it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I just read this book. I'd love to know what you think.
Yeah, I think you should. Caitlin, I think you should read it because it's not the same things that are in Haunting Adelaide. Because I do know that's where I was going with it. My best friend, she told me the parts that she knows I would need to know. You know, she told me, she's like, it has this and this. Right. And this is why it's split in 2. Because I asked her, I was like, these are both huge. Why are there 2? What is she doing? Is there a breakup? Is there a whatever? Yeah. I need to know why books are a duet, because lately duets have been pissing me off.
They're not worth it, yeah.
So I was like, why is it 2? And she told me why it's 2. And I was like, okay, that's a good reason to be 2. But anyway, Caitlin, Does It Hurt, I think is interesting. Like, I think you'd like it.
Yeah, it's on this TBR for my light versus dark TBR, so I'm definitely going to read that one. But yeah, I mean, in general, I just feel like there's rarely ever a situation where an author writes a duet that I think that this full story warrants the book to be split in two, because almost always I'm dissatisfied with like the breaking point between book 1 and book 2. It's almost always like a forced situation, and I hate that. So every time I see it's a duet, I'm very leery of starting it, which is why I need somebody else to really be like, hey, and force me in there if it's like worth it.
Right.
Oh, that's funny. Being scared of the ocean is definitely a reason.
So am I. I don't like open water type of thing.
Like you don't know what's down there, girl. Like,
yes, look, and I keep seeing like all the Shark Week things, and I'm just kind of like, I'm quietly fascinated, but also like I want to stay far away. But
right.
Watching it through the screen gives me goosebumps. I'm just like, no.
It was, I mean, like I said, it is very like, to me, gave me thriller / romantic suspense vibes, but like in the way where I was like, it was a movie. I had to keep watching. Plus, it was 5-star, or it was 5 chili pepper spice, but I was like flipping the page because I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to vlog the experience. So
yeah. But anyway, back to the duet thing. Yeah, I so rarely like, is there a reason for me besides, and it's a fine line too, because I do understand authors either wanting to get a first half out so they can have it out and start gaining like viewers for it. Like, I understand, and I hate to be like, oh, they're just being greedy, because that's not a blanket statement. That's not true. But some authors who've been writing for a very long time now and will still do like 200-page books in a trilogy, and then there's not a reason for it to be broken up. I'm like, you literally could have just written a 420-page book and dropped it. Like, you're on Kindle Unlimited, you're going to get the same amount of page reads.
Yeah, pages read. Yeah, exactly.
Because I may give it a 6-star to the first book because they did so great, but then I'm like, why didn't you make this one book? Like, oh, anyway. I will
say that almost all experience with duets, and I say almost all because some duets, I mean, I have duets that are like my favorite. I'm like, that was done really well. But almost all the time, I read the first book, it ends on that cliffhanger where you cannot not go to the second book. So you get the second book, and it's like the pacing's so off because the resolution could have been an additional 10 chapters in the first book. It didn't need to be a whole additional book. And I resent that because I'm like, I don't need to read a whole 200 pages, 250 pages to have that resolution. So I'm just like, why did you do this to me? I don't want to think negative thoughts, but I go there,
Right.
Yeah. What does Riley want to know? Is she asking us? She wants to know.
I think that was in general, but
I also can't.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I need to know. Yeah, I need to know something. I mean,
that's like, I say this whenever it gets brought up. Like, one of the main reasons I finally started my channel way back is I was like, people don't tell me enough about books. I want to know more. I whine about this all the time because I'm like, I read hundreds of books a year. I need more reason to read it than it's like, this was a brother's best friend and it was really cute. Read it. And they move on. I'm like, what the fuck did you just tell me? There are a million brothers best friends. Tell me why you gave this one 5 stars. Like, just you're not spoiling it. It's a romance. They're going to kiss and get married. It's fine.
Yeah, I do find it hard to balance, especially when I'm doing a vlog and I'm giving more in-depth thoughts. I find it difficult sometimes to find the balance of like, I want to tell you guys more about this book, but I don't want to spoil it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I just throw up a spoiler tag.
Yeah.
There's some things where I'm just kind of like, if I feel like if it was me personally and I wanted to know, but yet I also understand certain people are like, I just don't want to know things and I don't want them to unexpectedly be spoiled. I'm just like, look, I'm going to spoil it for you guys. So if you don't want it, don't listen to the next 5 minutes of me chatting about it. But sometimes you need to tell people,
Yeah.
So I've definitely done that. It is a fine line. You have to like judge, am I giving too much information or am I being way too vague and I'm not giving anything for this book review?
Like I love how you do that, Justin. I also like at this point, I feel like my style is really known on my channel because I never tell a whole book, but if there are certain tidbits that like some people would consider spoilers, I don't throw up a spoiler tag because I'm like,
but you'll tell them.
Right. People have been watching my videos for how long? And I'm like, I give more details. That's why my videos are an hour long and people wish I talked more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I like
no, but you'll say like, oh, it would be, some people might consider this a spoiler, but it's not necessarily that you know, have a spoiler tag or anything, but I do feel like you give good information without like going into great detail. It's like also like, I don't know, you have to know the point in the book where it's like you don't want to pass up where the plot gets too intricate, and so you don't want to get that far in it. So it's hard. As look,
that's great.
We do hard jobs for free, but it's fine.
Well, and sometimes, and what do we say? Like, there's so many times when I'm doing a review or on my video where I'm like talking, like, and that was the first 2 chapters. I'm just giving you this. Like,
There's just a lot of information.
Where I'm like, I know this feels like I'm telling you everything, but all of this happens in the first 10 pages. So that's why I'm telling you.
Right.
You know? Yes. So yeah, it is a fine line because some people are like, you're telling me too much. And I'm like, but I haven't even got to like what the setup is.
It's like the situation is complicated. Like the background is complicated. I need to talk about the background first before I even get to what this book is about.
Right.
So yeah, I totally get that. There's just some books where there's more to talk about.
Yeah. And I think like what Riley said, and as I was saying, like what my style is, I just think that there used to be times in earlier times in my channel where people are like, you're telling me too much. People used to say that. I haven't got one of those comments in forever, so hopefully those people have fucked off by now. But I would say, I'm like, my channel, I want to give more detail. Don't watch. Like, I've always said that. Back when I had, 2,000 subscribers, I'm like, these are the details I would need to pick up the book. So I'm telling you, go look at the super vague Goodreads reviews then. Go look at those if you want it. You picked my channel. This is what I'm doing here. Hello. So, yeah. But anyway, it's a thing.
It is.
Exactly. Oh, I was going to say Riley. Was it Riley who said it or Lexi who said that they would flip pages when they get anxious?
Yeah.
How I knew that I only wanted to read romance going forward is that once I started reading romance continuously, I no longer had to peek at the back of books because I knew I was going to get an HEA. No matter what was happening, I knew I would get one. Whereas in YA or like thrillers, I would peek at the end because I would have
because you didn't know if your main characters were about to die.
I just had to see them kiss, or I had to see it say 8 months later, and then I could do it. Because the last book that I let fuck me over that way? Allegiant.
I knew you were going to say that.
When I peeked at the last chapter and it was, you know what? I was like, fuck this. And I threw it and I never finished the book.
You're not the only one.
Because it was getting so stressful. I was like, I just got to peek, And usually when you peek, because I did that with Mockingjay. I peeked and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Good feels. We can suffer for a little bit more.
Right. I was like, okay, we'll make it through. But then I did with Allegiant and I was like, what is this shit? No. And I was done. I was like, nope. And honestly, I can pinpoint my flipping point, and it's when like I only read like YA fantasies and romances and adult romances that I knew would have an HEA. After that point, when that happened, I was like, I'm done. So that's why when there's a specific book by Pam Godwin that she doesn't have an HEA in, and I'm
glad you told us though. I'm glad you told us.
I raged. I sobbed to Tiffany. I could not speak. I was crying so hard, and I felt so betrayed.
Yeah,
I felt so betrayed because I was like, Pam, how fucking dare you? How dare you do this to me?
Does she call it a romance? Does she consider it to be?
Yes, but not really. It's her very first book she wrote. And so she was just writing what she wanted to write. And the trilogy has an HEA. but it changes main characters. Like the character with does not get an HEA.
Right.
And like I remember Jen reading this and like the premise sounds great.
Yeah.
But I can't do it. I can't commit to it, you know.
I could like it's beautiful for what Pam is trying to do. And now that I've read R. Lee Smith, who was her like inspiration for a lot of it, I understand what this book was.
Like and what she was doing.
And that if this was a movie or a TV show, it would be fucking gut-wrenching and amazing.
That's the thing. I can handle a lot more when I'm watching a TV show or a movie. And I feel like because it's less time commitment, I'm with the characters for a shorter amount of time. But for books, I'm just kind of like, no.
But when it's your first person POV and their POV just
more invested.
Oof.
So anyway, it was rough, y'all. And
oh my god, I see Pen Pal in the comment that I don't want to think about it because I am gonna read it, but I'm terrified. I'm terrified about Pen Pal
because I'm gonna go into it and it's a thriller. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for a thriller. I
haven't even mentally prepared that far. I'm just it's not fair because I was intrigued before. I was intrigued before she was like, hey, it's more like her other book that I haven't read because I was too afraid to
read.
Well,
and now she's saying it's literary fiction.
Oh, yeah. Because
she probably had to backtrack really hard because we were like, what are you talking about? It has like an HEA, but not traditional. It's not traditional romance.
I feel like
she'll still get either romance or no.
Yeah. She'll still get a lot of hate for it, like I'm sure.
It's a weird choice, okay? I had a whole long conversation with an author friend about this. That why didn't she do a different pen name for Pen Pal? Like just do a different one. Like say Joan Geisinger instead. You know, the way that Cora Riley, she picked a different pen name for her romantic suspense. And those ones still have an HEA, but she did see Riley. Like just do that.
The way that she started promoting it was a romance in the beginning. Like she started promoting it as a romance. If she would have initially, for example, Nalini Singh. Nalini Singh has written a thriller that is not a romance, but initially she was like, listen, I'm going balls to walls in another direction. This is a thriller and it's not going to be for my romance readers, but I feel like I need to read. And I never read it because I'm like, okay, I'm glad that you're doing that for you, but I don't want to read a thriller by you. I would want to read a romance. And so it was very clear from the beginning. And I think that I got so excited about Pen Pal because I'm like, she's doing a dark romance because that's how it was initially promoted, was a dark romance. And then now
it's still
all of a
classified
sudden,
that way. Like it's still
and I'm like
Pen Pal dark romance.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, you can't do that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna read it because I'm intrigued because I know a lot of people liked her other one, the Perfect Strangers one or whatever that's called. So I'm gonna read it just for the experience of it. But yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. It's okay. I've said like intellectually and as like a artist, I mean as a creator, she can write whatever the fuck she wants. Absolutely,
whatever she wants.
Write whatever you want. I just think that it's like you built her Queens and Monsters have got her a whole new audience. Just it's blown up. Those books are fantastic. I loved every single one. They were all 6 stars. They warmed my heart. They're fantastic. And they are the sweetest, gooeyest romances wrapped up in badass, kinky beautifulness ever. Like the hearts are just like gooping sugar, in my opinion. They're love it. And then to want to do this, like I understand her wanting to switch gears and like do that, but then either do a different pen name or like, I don't know, give it an HEA. Why do you got to do that? Like, I don't know. So I think it could be a bigger mind fuck than we even think. And maybe it's better than we think, but I'm going to go in extremely skeptical because and the same thing Ashton said, Jade West did that too. It's pushed and pushed and pushed as a romance. And that was a romance in the last 3% of the book. It was fucking agony. It was horrible.
Like, and not enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And after it was coming out too, she was like, this isn't my truth. I'm like, it's still under like erotic romance and romance on all the things. And I know that like, you don't always get to pick with what Amazon picks it up, because someone's book will be under like Italian literature or something.
Right.
But it's like.
Depends on who's buying the Amazon ads. I mean, someone's categorizing it as that for sure.
Yeah. So it's just, anyway, that got me a little heated where we went with it. But my point being, Allegiant fucked me over.
Yeah.
And now romance, if you're called romance, whether there's all the sex you could have in it, if they're not ending up together and it's happy and there's like, we're going to get married and have a million babies, like the babies are optional, but like, are we going to be together? Then I don't want it because I don't need anxiety. Okay. I don't need
and I don't consider it an HEA if it ended in an HEA, but then it was all a dream. Like that's not a fucking HEA. I'm just saying. I mean, like that's absolutely not an HEA for me.
And then the author retcons it and all of her stuff and saying, no, it's like they're all together. And I was like, then you should have had it be that way in the epilogue. Because I had people even not attacking, they weren't mean, but even on my review, like, so the authors confirm that they're together. So I'm like, that's fine. And some people will be okay. But I read the book and she wakes up and she's not with the guy she was just with for all the stuff. And she's reliving the day she lived that she meets him. That was all a fucking dream then. It was a dream.
So it didn't actually happen. Yeah, you can dream it all you want, but that's a dream. That's not actually what happened. It could happen a lot of different ways, just saying in real life.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that. Yes.
Which it was great. Like I love that she did that. And like, I don't know.
I just like to know what I'm
vague about the description.
Exactly. And don't say like it's kind of a romance and it's kind of an HEA. Like it's an HEA.
Girl, let's be clear.
Or it is not.
Right.
Like, there's no in between. Like I get it. Some authors don't want to write like, oh, they get married at the end and have babies. That to me does not equate an HEA. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Dead.
Yeah. It negates the whole entire book if it was all a dream.
That's like those thrillers that use those kind of tropes. And
then that's like, I bet you didn't see this coming. It was all a dream. And I'm like,
Riley, it was one of those
like
where like
laziest things that you can do.
There's an epilogue. She wakes up. It's now the first day that she met him. So she thinks like, oh no, this was a dream. So then she goes with her boyfriend, who's not the guy that she ends up with, because that's what the whole book is her like leaving her boyfriend to be with this guy. She wakes up in bed with her boyfriend, goes down to breakfast, and the ship that the guy arrives in shows up. And that's the last line. So it's like it was a movie, right? Where you're like knowing that what just happened.
I'm okay with movies like that, but not
I hate those
that market themselves as romance, you know? And I'm traumatized by this book and I didn't even read it. I just heard about it via Jen. So
and it was literally like, I was like,
I'm appalled on your behalf that you had to read that. I'm like, I can't believe. So
it's one of these things where like this year, I really have tried to try a lot of like first time authors, and it's a 50-50 split. Like you never know. I get Amara Ray, I get Jess Wisecup, I get, these people like their first books were this year. And then there was one like this where like, it was written really cool. It's super spicy. She's selling with how spicy it is. And it was good smut. And I was liking it good enough all the way through. And then what the fuck was this? It would be, and I said this in my review. I was like, if the book had ended with that, and then the epilogue was them actually being together, I would have been like, okay, so everything actually happened. But no, it didn't. Had the whole story, shows they're happily ever after. Then the epilogue was her waking up.
Right.
And realizing it was all a dream.
Yeah.
So even their future and their kids and stuff, we all imagined that was a dream.
I think that I've seen a couple of authors, like new romance authors, come onto the scene and they're like, I don't write, the typical romance and stuff like that. I'm like, listen, there's a reason why romance is very successful. Like it ends with a romance. That's what we expect. We don't need you to be like redefining romance. Nobody needs you to redefine romance. Nobody asked for that. So just saying.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Anyway.
So how do we feel about doing another sprint? I understand if anybody has to leave, by the way. I'm just
you're free to leave. I'm okay with reading some more because I'm not tired and I'm at a good part.
Okay. So let's do at least one more sprint. Yes, Riley. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I can't with all that.
Go away with that. Go with.
Well, it's like you want the romance money without having to stick to the rules. And really, we only have one rule. Like that's literally the only rule. That's it. And they want to be like, but I don't really write that. I'm like, then go over there. Go away. Whatever.
I love this. Okay, Rachel, I need to know how you do this because like I need this cat. I love it.
I'm getting spammed, but
Stupid spam, go away.
So I'm sharing my screen. And it's pomodorokitty.com.
Okay.
And see, there's like the tab that says options, and so then you could like go in and adjust
set your
times, like if you work time, break time, another break time. I found this from Monty Price here on YouTube. He does a lot of reading sprints, and so he uses this website specifically.
I freaking love it. So I
just and you can like change the color of the cat and like the background and stuff. So it's just adorable. Cute. It's just adorable, yeah.
It is adorable.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head out and go have dinner.
Okay. Bye, Christy.
Bye, Christy.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this now.
Love it. Also, someone said their first dark romance was Untouchable, and way to go, jumping in the deep end. Love it. Okay, now I'll mute myself.
Or at that time, it made me jump. Joe.
Yeah.
Got me that time.
Yeah. It's fun. Oh,
Oh, great.
I'm tired now. I don't know why I act like I'm tired. I'm not gonna go to bed for 4 more hours. But
I know, let's be real, right?
Close to your bedtime.
no, I know. But I always get this. I always get the sleepies. But then I push through and then I'm wide awake for a long time. It's
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good times,
Love
girl.
to see it. Love to see it.
Love the trope.
Yep. Oh, romance. Romance is the bestest. All the people trying to be smart and think they're reinventing the wheel. And I'm like, that's the whole point. Is the wheel is set.
Need to finish that chapter. It was a good chapter. I'm so excited.
I
I literally got to the chapter where the solution is there.
Oh, okay.
The solution, he just found the solution.
Okay.
And I'm like,
right.
Love it.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation because it was one of those where I liked it. Well, because her warning at the end of the thing after she shows you the sneak scene and she's like, "There's no cheating, I promise." That's totally her thing, and I was like, "Okay."
I was like, "But how, Amara Ray? How?" But she did it, so
yeah, perfect cinnamon roll. Oh, perfect. But yeah, but still, I mean, I don't know. She's never done anything that's pissed me off in any of her books.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, what's she gonna do? I'm here.
No, I was willing to go along for the ride because she's been so, focused in on fated mates. I didn't think that she would do anything to challenge that, but I was also just curious to see from that preview that she had in Inferno. I'm just like, well, how are you going to rectify the situation? And it works. So
what book is this?
Zephyr. Lifeblood is the first one, Rachel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also interesting because the solution. I'm excited for you to see this. The thing that helps with the solution. What?
In an action?
Well, the people they get advice from for the solution.
Oh, I saw that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because we're using different pronouns for the solution because I'm not trying to say it. So I'm just
okay. Maybe not. Okay. They have had a meeting.
Yeah.
And it seems
well, no, we're talking about the same thing, but I didn't know if you were talking about the same thing.
Okay, good.
Him just showing what it is like. And that is when we find out that the 6th book is called Necrosis. I was very excited about it because that, 5th book and the 6th book, I'm very excited for that. So
I'm really loving this one though too, but I also feel like, I mean, I'm a shifter girl at heart, so I just love it. I love especially wolf shifter stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like the wolf shifter and fated mate tropes just marry so perfectly together. So I love to read those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Never ending TBR. Yeah,
it never ends.
It doesn't.
Yeah, we're just gonna die.
The way you said that.
So morbid.
I mean, I look around my house and I'm like, I'm never gonna read all these,
right?
And it's because no matter how much time I have, there are still even thousands more than what's in my house that I will want to read that aren't even written yet that I want to read. And it's just, it's the exciting thing and the terrifying thing is
exactly.
I'll never get all the books that I want.
I just hope all my favorite authors continue to write for as long as possible. And
right, as long as I want them to. Yeah.
I'm still side-eyeing Lisa Kleypas, who has not made a peep since her last release. I'm like,
and
worried.
And how the fact that my jaw dropped when Tessa Dare was at Apolycon. Tessa Dare,
she hasn't said anything.
My ma'am, how dare you be going to signing books when we don't even know what another book is?
And she's active on social media. Like, she's very active on Twitter, for one thing. Like, she's very, like, I don't understand, girl. Like, she won't say anything.
I know you don't love her, Justin, but we've been waiting for that 4th book for
this was
years.
This was a conversation when I met with the booktubers. They were absolutely talking about this, so I'm aware of the situation. Absolutely. Okay. And I sympathize. Because everybody was just kind of like, Tessa Dare's here, and went over the situation. I was just like, wow, that
does change.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those where, like, just tell us what's happening.
Yeah, and you know what's hilarious is that I remember when that date first got pushed all the way back to 2024, and I remember that Tessa Dare was like, "Oh, it'll never be that late." 2024 is not that far away, and we have not
announced for that year already. Yeah,
I'm salty. I'm salty.
Well, and but the thing that I like, so the thing that I was thinking about is we know that like Cressley Cole ghosted for years, and there were reasons.
Yeah,
there were reasons that we didn't know about for years. Like, we didn't know about. So with Tessa Dare, I assumed it was something like that. So then for her to just be like, boop, pop up at a Polycon, I'm like, bitch, I thought you were like dead, or like very, like Maya Banks. She's like ill and literally can't finish it. And not that I want her to be ill. I don't want Tessa Dare to be ill, but I'm like, then give us an update. Or Mila Vane. She has been sick and had issues and reasons, and her book's been getting pushed. And that's frustrating to me, but I'm like, her health is more important. Like, it's more important.
Right.
I understand. But at least she would like pop in and say.
You're informed about the situation, so you know that there's, you have to
every time Steele and what the fuck gets pushed, I'm like, oh, but I'm also like, when I see it from her mouth, I'll believe it, because she's like, I'm not the one moving those dates. The publisher wants to keep the book up, so they keep pushing the date. It's the same reason Maya Banks' book keeps getting pushed, but they're not coming out. Like, it's not coming. It's not available. And that's the publisher who owns the rights to it, who keeps moving it because they don't want to fully like remove it. Anyway. Sorry, it's just.
Can I jump in with something random, because I'm on Instagram and I just saw this for the first time, this cover reveal for the new Lorraine Heath. Did anybody else see this?
Well, yeah,
somebody left a comment. Somebody left a comment about it.
See, I think Candace said it.
I just saw it and I'm like, why the font? It's not even the picture of the pose. Just like, what's going on with
I'm gonna go look at it. Right? Is it on her Instagram? Is it on?
Yes, it's her. It's her cover reveal an hour ago. I don't like the font that they're using now. Like, I feel like it's similar to the newest Beverly Jenkins, maybe. Like,
I hate the font.
I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing. Like, I don't like it.
Well, okay, but we're still getting clinch. I'm sorry. We have to pick one. If we have to pick one, I don't care. The photo's gorgeous.
But I feel like it's one step closer to leaning away from clinch. So I don't know. It just feels like way too modern. I don't know. It was lackluster.
I also am not a fan of like the color of the font of her name against the blue of the dress. Yeah. To me, it clashes, but that's just me.
I mean, this is what we do. We can be picky and we can nitpick shit, because that's what we do. But yeah, I don't know.
You know what's also devastating about what's the bride bet, right? What's devastating about that too is that cover is stunning. Oh man,
is a holdover from all the shit. Like, yeah, that's just the whole thing. Is if I would be like, ma'am, just tell us when it's coming out. Like, why are you here selling books and signing books when you haven't told us when another one's coming? What
you think her publisher would be on her,
right,
about getting this book out eventually, and getting a date?
They're holding it. That's the only thing I can think is like, are they stopping it? Because
She's so popular though.
Seems weird though that why would they be stopping it? Because they would make money if it was published. So
Yeah,
that's my
she's
thing.
so weird. So weird.
Yeah. But that was the thing, you know, like the stuff with like Presley Cole, there were so many years she had to go before she could like put out another book in there. You know, like it had to like run out.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
You know, for her to then be able to publish it under Valkyrie Press. It had to go. So I don't know. I don't understand. I wish we could find that out. I wish I could know someone who worked at Avon / worked with that part and be like, just tell me.
Tell me something. Yeah.
But yes, speaking of the font, I think it's at the Beverly Jenkins they did it with. Megan Frampton's books has it. Eva Lee's books have it. They all have that weird blocky font. And like, why? Especially Lorraine Keith's last book that just came out, which still has all of her beautifulness. Like, why did you change that? Like,
yeah.
I
honestly feel like I don't notice fonts like that much, but I don't know. Specifically for historical romance, I think that it's just such a contrast with what they had done in any other historical romances. Now, like, I don't understand the reason for the change. Like, it's such a simple thing, like a font choice, but like, why are you doing this?
Meanwhile, Joanna Shoop's next book
covers continue to fucking slay. Just say, I mean, fucking slay.
So
whoever is controlling Joanna Shoop's covers,
I know,
wins because they like stuck to their guns and were like, we're giving them the clenchiest clench covers. I'm like, yes.
And it's like a beautiful font and beautiful colors, and
those ones are getting spicier every cover.
Yeah,
I know.
Damn, the heat is going up. Like they're every single one.
I mean, this, I know I'm in the minority, so completely fine. I don't even like love this series, and I'm gonna buy every single one because they're beautiful. There's so many books I buy that I'll never read.
I did like The Bride Goes Rogue or whatever, but I still love the freaking covers, and I don't care. I will purchase them because I want them to know that this is what I want. I want
exactly,
and I'll read them someday, or I won't. But they're fucking gorgeous, so I don't care.
Beautiful.
Like, her covers are fantastic, but literally, like, she has like a lineup of these, and so there's those three, and they literally just get, and then the next one, I'm like, you're getting less blanket. The blanket's getting like moving.
It's moving up, girl. It's moving up, girl.
Like, yeah,
love.
Like, good leg on everyone though. There's a good leg.
We did an interview with her, Jess and I, and she got to go to the photo shoot for that last one for The Dude Gets Even. That's so cool.
Oh, like he's even got like hairy leg happening.
Yes, guys.
I love it.
The hair clench, the thigh clench. I can't even.
It's so beautiful.
It's great. I like I said, not a huge fan of this series. I've only liked one, but I will buy them all and support that because I will support that cover.
Support the hell out of it because they're doing it right. That's
1000%
right.
I support that. But the thing that just like baffles me too, though, right? Like Lorraine Heath has been with Avon for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
Why are you not like? And her covers had stayed good. And again, I'm not saying this last cover is weird, but like you make that little tweak and it then makes it look off.
It's so noticeable.
Even though the couple, she has 100 covers that look just like that, like all like against a wall, whatever. But why just change that font like that? It makes it look less historical romance by changing the font. When you
chose the most uninteresting font and put it on there, like
no,
like why are you trying to make it look boring?
Beverly Jenkins has consistently had very steamy looking clench covers.
Beautiful covers.
Then they just decide to tone that down, and I'm like, makes no sense.
Yeah, they're like matching those new Bridgerton covers, and I'm like, but why? Those are ugly too. Like
those.
No, do you see people gravitating towards those covers? No, everyone's gravitating towards the OG ones that they have to buy off of eBay for amounts. Or, the special edition type of thing. But nobody really cares about the new ones that they're doing.
But I'm not reading a historical, Joe, for it to be modern. I'm reading a fucking historical.
Yeah, Joe's the emoji of just like.
I know you agree with me. But I'm like.
You know what? We also had this conversation at a Polycon. They tried to be like new and improved with the whole different size of the mass market stuff. And guess what? They went back.
Yeah.
Like they're trying new things and they're about to figure out that it doesn't work.
We've done that before. Like I have a Captain Culture series where the Lions one, it was an inch taller. Like they did where they did the extended size for some, and those were just hideous. Like why would you do that? You just made an awkward book size.
They're like, wouldn't it be great if we just changed the dimensions of the book? And I'm like, but why? Yeah. Like, no, stop.
On an unfortunate side, there are lots of people who said like they are nice because they're floppier.
I like a good floppy book, but
they're easier to read. They are easier to read, and
it can be done in the regular size. I guess it's the binding that they do. Like
I have one
floppier book.
I have the Grace Burrows. I have a bunch of Grace Burrows, like the Heir, the Captive, the Soldier. Mm-hmm. Those ones are all floppy.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like crack the binding to have them flop open. Yep. So anyway, I don't know.
Listen, nothing's as bad as that new cover they came out with for 9 Rules to Break.
Every time I walk by it at Barnes & Noble, I want to flap it.
Yeah.
Like I walk by it and I'm like, no.
It's so bad. It is so bad when the original cover is beautiful. And this new cover is so bad.
Ashton, it's infuriating. The Joanna Shoops do it too. The lady gets lucky bigger, and then the bride goes rogue with that. Yeah. Literally, it's the stupidest cover for which other one, like the ones I think that are improved. Let me say that. Mary Balog, she's getting very beautiful recovers for some of her series because those ones were kind of weird to begin with. And then she's getting a recover of like there's people on the front. They were very beautiful. But these ones where they look so fake and they're in a costume that looks bad.
It's cheap.
It looks like a cheap modern costume, not even like a cheap like some of the old OG clinch covers, you can tell they're costumes, they're costumes, but it still looks better than what's happening now.
Yeah. It's infuriating. But anyway, it's
a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah, it's one of those of like who's in the room and who makes the final decision part. And like I know they have to test something. Like that's the thing. They make the change. How are people going to feel? What are they going to think? The people who buy a book once a month, maybe they're like, oh, cool. This was like easier to hold open. Sweet. And they read it and then pass it off to their mom or they pass it off to their sister. They're not keeping it. Great. But the people that keep you afloat, they're your fucking collectors. They're the ones who pre-order your books. Keep us happy, please. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, keep us happy. Because if the covers keep looking like that, I'm going to keep buying old books and just get your book on Kindle. I'm not going to.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't bought any of these, like, modern-looking covers. Absolutely not. They're ugly.
Yeah.
Case in point is we have our Patreon book for this month. Is the Pirate Lore by Sabrina Jeffries, and I don't know when the recover was. I don't think it was like a recent recover or anything, but like I think it was published in '98, and the old paperback has like a beautiful like Fabio open chest, like beautiful.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, and like the new one's like a close up of this guy in like in a bad wig and like Photoshop to hell, so his face is super smooth, and I'm just like. I mean, obviously we take the Fabio cover. So like I searched down that cover because I want that. I don't want the new Photoshop to hell cover. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who's making marketing decisions these days, but sometimes.
And it's weird too, because these are all the same publisher. Like most of these are all Avon. Like, so you've got these beautiful Joanna Shoup covers, Avon. And then you've got like, what is the disconnect here?
They're obviously better teams in charge.
Yeah.
Well, authors or certain series or whatever.
I put it forward, and I'm pretty sure Sarah McLean has mentioned this on Fated Mates. Like it's doing it cheaper. Chels talks about it on their TikToks too. Like when people used to do paintings or they used to do the photo shoots, like those are expensive because you need all these people. Where you can take the stock cover of the new Bridgerton ones and just change colors of clothes and pop them on a bunch of covers, and then you don't have to pay an artist or even name them because you used a stock photo for it.
Right.
And it's all about how they're cutting corners for shit. And
I also find it interesting that, trade publishing is doing that now, like going the cheaper route, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And then you look at the indie scene, who is going the route of they will publish a series in a certain cover and then immediately release a special edition cover. So like they're investing in the same series. So it's just very interesting to me that, indies are choosing to invest in a cover twice over, like good covers twice over. Like look at Sophie Lark. There is nothing wrong with her original covers.
No.
She
Right.
chose to do something a little bit different because there is a wave of special edition, clamoring for all of that.
Sometimes paying 4 or 5 artists to do different covers before they pick one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the investment is there. And then you look at the trade publishing, and trade publishing is like cheapest route. I'm like, look, obviously covers sell. Otherwise, the indie authors would not be investing in these alternate covers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird strategy to me, but
it is. Yeah.
They're okay, Joe. I purchased from the book club one. So I purchased the second.
Those are really pretty too.
The other ones as well.
I mean, to be honest, now that I know what I know, I wish I wouldn't have bought this set because it's fucking expensive, and I wish I kind of would have picked. Like, I didn't know there'd be other book boxes that were going to do them. I actually really love the Illumicrate covers. But the experience of opening the Once Upon a Book Club is really cool. So I'm excited to get the second box. But geez, I dropped like $500 total or something on both of the. I can't even remember. I think it was like 25 with shipping for each box, maybe. I can't remember. But I mean, I think they're great.
Brought a lot to Polycon.
Offer all the options. Like, I think it's great. Offer all the options. But I think so. The thing I want to point out, they're investing into covers, but they don't have a whole team behind it. So even though for an individual indie author, that's an expense because it's coming out of your pocket, when Avon is doing that, they have how many people who work on a book that they have to pay off of what it makes, Yeah. So there is that where like an author, they're doing it by themselves. That's a lot. But on the opposite side, they're doing it by themselves. So if their book is being really successful, they get all of the profits from it. And then they can take a chunk to reinvest. Whereas like Avon, if you're not their top billed author, you're barely getting what you need,
And I totally understand that, but I just feel like some really big name authors are getting cheap ass looking covers, and I don't understand.
I don't get it. Yeah.
More of like the lesser known historical romance authors were getting the covers that look like like a bad prom photo, but there are some very high end authors that I'm like, why are you not investing in this person? I know that they make you money. It's just very strange to me.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
I feel like the industry is changing so much because of like book talk too, like in general. Like I feel like I went to my local Barnes and Noble for the first time since the pandemic, and I was just like, I knew there were going to be tables, like book talk tables and stuff, but I'm just looking at in general what's on the shelves. I'm like, this is so different than like 2019. Like, geez.
I mean, I like it a lot. I just think that the amount of change that Book Talk was able to do, I mean, it did a lot of good for Barnes & Noble. Like, literally, it saved stores from closing, which is fantastic. Absolutely. But already, like, some of the trust in Book Talk has waned a lot. And the changes that industries have made for Book Talk are still not even out yet. And already some people are moving on from certain aspects because, like, a lot of the big push that Book Talk was able to do for certain books, like, it's already ending. It is.
Yeah.
So a lot of authors and stuff who've gotten like stuff off of that and a lot of changes, which again is great for them because I want these authors to have that. But the success off of it is already starting to wane, where Barnes and Noble and those books are like just coming out that these changes are made for, right? So it's interesting.
That is interesting.
Because that's some insight that, Mr. Lark gave me when I got to visit them, is because I was like, I'm sorry that I don't make more TikToks. And he's like, it's already like waning the amount of sales we get from a TikTok going big, whereas like videos we've made they're slow but steady when people come across them. When people want more info and they type us into Google, people type in Sophie Lark books on Google. Like, my videos come up on Google and show.
Yeah.
And so people who've never watched a BookTube video, but they've watched a book talk, but they want to know more. And so when they type it into Google, like, my face is coming up. And then they watch a video that's in depth and they buy the book because they heard more about it from me than they did from the book talk. You know, so it's this thing of like, book talk may be sparking interest, but it's still other places that are selling the book.
Yeah.
I
agree. And I mean, like, I'm just kind of biased. I never got into book talk scene.
Me neither.
Just because, first of all, I don't have the time to invest in doing another social media.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like the quick format. I'm not a quick format type of person. I just don't. That's not my way of explaining books. I find like I like to go in a little bit of greater detail, and it doesn't take me, 30 seconds what it used to explain a book. Like, I just don't like that. So I don't know. I think that book talk is great for authors to get recognition, and I'm so happy that so many authors have like blown up with it. But yeah, longevity of book talk is very interesting. We'll see in the long run what happens with that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the book talk videos that have really sold me on books, they haven't been the like 10-second ones, really. They're usually
the longer ones where you get more info. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I bought Between Wrath and Mercy. I watched a 3-minute of someone gushing about it. And same with Lifeblood. There was one where someone was explaining it. Those two books, I found them off of TikTok, but it wasn't from a 15-second like, I'm going to fuck you against the wall. Like, it wasn't one of those.
Yeah, somebody invested some time because they cared about a book so they invested.
Yeah.
A good amount.
I don't know. And I think, like, I just associate it, though, with negative things. Like, I associate it with people getting canceled, or if I want to know the tea on something, I'm going there. So I associate it with a negative connotation.
That's just like the TikTok that was shared in one Instagram groups about a Polycon, like negativity with a Polycon, and there's already like a rumor that was completely untrue about people getting like punched out at a Polycon, and I was like, I didn't hear about that at all. I didn't see people getting punched, and of course it's getting blown up on TikTok, and because people want the drama, and it's not true. So,
well, basically it means like I feel secure in my platform. I'm happy I'm on YouTube.
Same.
To put my time into it.
I prefer long form content always.
Like that. All right. We're 3.5 hours to this.
Yeah.
It's been great, guys. This is a great conversation. Great reading.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Thank you all so much for joining us. And thank you, Jen and Jessen, for joining me on this. This was a fun time. I got like 25% of my book read. So I'm
nice.
I got good headway into my book, so this was definitely productive for me.
It was good. If I wasn't sprinting with, I would have finished this book 2 hours ago, but it's okay.
Conversations, though, that's what it's all.
I'm not denying it. It's okay. I just know that like really, it's more about the people for you guys than me. But the next sprint is at 2 p.m. on my channel.
Yay!
14 hours from now, so
I will see you guys probably with a different book next time. So
you better.
Yes, definitely tune in for. There's sprints going on every day this week, guys. So
every day,
be sure to tune in for that. And I have everybody's channels linked in the description below, so be sure to check them out. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for being my friend.
Yay!